Welcome back everyone. In this particular video, we are going to talk about this setup. Of course, before starting with the Java concept, it's important for us to understand how do we set up our machine so that you can write your first code, right? Because in this session, we are going to write our first code, right? Now the thing is, when you talk about Java language, in fact, most of the languages, they are compiled language. And then there are few languages which are, in fact, there are many languages which are interpreted. Now, of course, what is compiled, what is interpreted, that's a different discussion. And you might have seen a video about it. Now, Java, if you want to compile your code, you need something called JDK. If you want to run your code, you need something called JVM. By default, every machine, okay, not every machine, most of the machines will be having JVM installed. So that's why you can run your Java, but as a coder or as a programmer, how will you convert your Java code into something which can run? And that's where you need a Java compiler. So in this particular session, let's understand what are the softwares we need and individually we'll install them. So first thing we need here is OpenJDK. Now, okay, not specifically OpenJDK, a JDK, okay? Now the thing is, JDK is provided by multiple companies. In fact, Oracle have their own JDK, which is the official one. The only thing is there are some licensing issues when it comes to commercial, right? For the normal users, it is free. But then the moment it becomes commercial, a lot of people don't prefer to use Oracle JDK because of its commercial reason. And that's where you have option of OpenJDK, which is an open source version of JDK. And then the only problem with OpenJDK is you don't get support. As an individual, you don't need support. Of course, as a big company, they need support, so they pay extra to get the support. Now, we will be using OpenJDK, and then there are different providers for OpenJDK. We got OpenJDK from the official website. You can also get OpenJDK from the Amazon, which is Amazon Corretto, and then there are other vendors as well. We are going to install the official, okay, not official, but then OpenJDK from the official website, which is this one. So you can just go to OpenJDK. In fact, you can also go to the second, okay, no, let's go for the first one. So click on the first link, which is OpenJDK. Make sure that you have the same URL, which is openjdk.org. And here, there will be an option of download. Now, while I'm recording this video in the month of June, basically we have this version of 20. Now, in September, you will be getting 21. Now, is it a good idea to download the latest version? I don't prefer to always go for the latest version. What happens is with different Java versions, you got some versions, and as you know, every 6 months now we are getting new updates. Now in this version, there are few versions which are long-term support, which will be there for a longer time. Example, Java 8 was a long-term support, Java 11, Java 17 now, and maybe Java 21 will also be a long-term support. Now, if you want to download, which one to download, I would say preferably JDK 20, which is the latest one. And what you can do is you can click on the version. So depending upon which OS you're using, since I'm using Windows, I'll be clicking on zip. If you're using Linux, download this, unzip it, and set the path. That's it. That's the only thing you have to do in Linux. For Mac, also the same thing, you have to set the path. Now for Windows, I'm clicking on zip here, download. And one more thing for Mac, if you're using the Apple Silicon, you have to download this one. If you're using the Intel chip, you have to go for this one. And you can see my OpenJDK has been downloaded. Now, apart from this, what extra things we need? The next thing we need is IDEs. See, the thing is, if you want to write your code, you need a place where you can write the code, right? Example, if you want to write an essay, you will need MS Word or a Word document, Google Docs, let's say, and you will write your essay there. In the same way, if you want to write your code, you need editor, right? Now, why we have to use an IDE instead of using an editor is, in editor, you can basically type your code, and of course, you can also compile. There are some editors which also give you the option. But then, as a developer, you don't just write code, right? There are multiple things you have to do. You have to write the code, you have to compile it, you have to debug it, you have to create a package out of it, a lot of things, right? And that's where you need an environment, which is something called integrated development environment. So everything is together in one environment, and that's what we need. Now, what are the options we have? For Java, we have a lot of options. Now, what we are going to focus on is these three. So we got Eclipse, which is very famous in the open source world, and it's actually free to use. VS Code is also popular. You can also download VS Code if you want. And see, in this particular series, doesn't matter which IDE we use, you can choose whatever IDE you want to use. Example, if you want to use Eclipse, it's your choice. Even if we use VS Code and you say, hey, I want to use Eclipse, that's fine. If we use Eclipse and if you want to use VS Code, that is fine. Ultimately, you will get the same output, right? But I will show you which are the websites you have to follow. So for Eclipse, you can go to the official website, which is eclipse.org, and you can download the version. And here also there are different types of Eclipse you have. You have Eclipse for the core Java part, you have Eclipse for the enterprise Java, which is EE version. And there are multiple versions here, and you just have to see which one downloading. Now this is a normal version. You get the normal thing. Let me just try this. So I'm downloading this option, which is this one. Click on this, and it will take some time to download. And of course, if you like the Eclipse IDE, you can do some contribution there as well. Always a good idea. Next, we have VS Code. Now VS Code is again from Microsoft. You can just go there to the official website, depending upon which OS you are using, Windows, Mac, Linux, you can select in. And since I'm using Windows, I will click on this one. And the thing is, in my machine, I already have all the softwares, but I'm showing you how to install them, how to download them basically. So we got the download for VS Code, and next we are downloading the IntelliJ IDEA. Now the thing is, personally, I love IntelliJ IDEA because I have the ultimate version of it, which is the paid version. And for me, productivity is very important. So if you get a job and if you're working for a company, they will give you a license. Otherwise, if you're doing freelancing as well, it's good to invest in a good IDE. It gives a lot of different tools, it makes your work easy, and it makes you more productive. But yes, if you don't want to go for the paid version, we also have an option of community version. So if you can just go to their website, they offer you community version as well, and we can download this one. Of course, it provides you enough tools. Example, you can write your code, you can push on GitHub, you have a debugger option, you can connect with Docker. What it doesn't support is the enterprise part of it. What if you want to use Spring Framework and all those stuff? There's a way around of doing Spring in community version, which we'll see in the course, don't worry. But yeah, let's download the community version. So click on this, and it will download. Now, once you got your download done, how do you do the setup for this? That we'll see in the next video.